Need for Speed Payback. Your boy's back. Bourne, aka Bourne Mac. Yes, what's going on, peeps? You saw the thumbnail, you saw the title. What I want to do today is discuss the situation we have at the moment with certain cars from the published list actually missing within the game. Now, before I go into this, I want to say a quick apology if I stutter, if I cough, and if I splutter my way through this video. I'm suffering with a cold at the moment. I'm pretty certain the IGN gods have put a hex on me because my last video, you know, straight after filming the last video, my freaking microphone broke, bought a new one in, then I got struck with a cold. IGN, if you got a voodoo doll of me, put the damn thing down, please. I'm just a small YouTuber trying to make a living. Your boy is trying to live out here. So first things first, let's take a look at the list of cars that are not available from the dealers at the moment, but were actually publicized in the official list of released cars. So we've got the Mazda RX-7. We've got the BMW M3 E30 edition. We've got the Nissan Skyline 2000 GTR. We've got the Plymouth Barracuda. We've got the Volvo Amazon P130, and we've got the Volvo 242DL. Now, I've been reading through the comments, as many as I possibly can, and I have been receiving a few comments from you guys asking me about the whereabouts of the RX-7 and the E30, and I'm going to be honest with you. Up until this point, I still do not have an answer to that question. However, what I do have are some possible theories. So before we go into these theories, and I believe there's 4 in total, I want to make something absolutely abundantly and fundamentally clear. These are theories. I do not have the answer. What I'm telling you is not factual, it's just educated guesses. That's the key thing, educated guesses, based on the information that I've got in front of me, based on what I can see in the game at the moment, and based on speaking to a couple of people in my Discord. Shout out to my Discord members. Gang in the building. Okay, so first things first, the first theory that I want to discuss is roaming racers. Now, as you know, you've been playing the game already. Within the actual game world, you've got these things called roaming racers, which are AI-controlled enemies or opponents who drive around certain areas at free will, and you have the opportunity to challenge them. During our discussions, one of the first things we thought about was that maybe, just maybe, these cars will start to pop up within the game as roaming racers, and it could be a thing whereby you need to actually defeat that car when it pops up to actually unlock it. Didn't seem too far-fetched at first, but I think the thing is those of us that have been playing the game for a little while now, since November the 2nd, this just hasn't actually been the case. Maybe it's a situation where that will be the case after you complete the game. Maybe there's a mechanism within the game whereby you need to get like 100% completion across all trophies and achievements, and then those cars get released into the world as roaming racers that you can only go and beat at certain times. I don't know. This is a theory which, to be quite honest, is quite sketchy. On the surface, it sounded feasible, but as I said, the more I start to think about this and the more I've started to play the game, I've started to doubt this. But who knows? If you've got 100% completion on the game already, let me know in the comments, and let me know if you have spotted any of the cars mentioned above as roaming racers. Right, the second theory, the second is potential DLC. Now hold your horses, yeah? Don't start shouting and screaming. Need for Speed 2015 was obviously a good game in the respect that it did receive quite a lot of support post-launch. 6 months of totally free DLC. Now, with DLC, obviously the whole reason for it is to keep the game alive, it's to keep the game refreshed, it's to keep the game engaging, and basically to keep you playing. Could it be that those iconic cars, because let's be honest, quite a few of them are iconic, are to be released at a later date as a pack? Now, I'm not saying this pack is something you have to pay for, and I'm not saying it's free, and I'm not saying there even will be a pack, but it stands to reason that if you look at that, you're looking at what, 1, 2, 3, 4, you're looking at 6 cars in total. That's a nice round figure for a release pack. Maybe it might drop as a Christmas shipment, who knows? But that was my second theory. Now, theory number 3 is a similar theory to what I put forward in relation to the fact that there is no proper online free roam multiplayer support at this present moment. Now, the reason I gave for that was that maybe the mechanism, maybe the system for it is just not ready. Maybe it's not perfected yet. If I was a games developer and I had a situation where I've made my game, but there are certain elements of that game that are just not functioning correctly, knowing the way how social media is, knowing the way how people are very, very easily critical, what I would do is, rather than push it out really quickly in an attempt to put out a product which on the surface seems complete but is actually in effect broken and will just pretty much cheese off the whole racing community, I would actually hold that part of the game back and wait until it's fully polished, fully working, and then release it. Now, like I said, this is me just speculating here, okay? Could this be the mentality that they're putting towards these cars? Could it be a thing whereby these cars are just not ready yet? Could we be looking at a situation whereby there are certain customizable elements that are being made for the cars which are just not ready? Maybe they're having problems rendering the assets. Maybe there are certain body kits they're trying to implement for these cars which they haven't finished putting together the models for. Again, just like the first theory, I'm not entirely sure on this. I'm not entirely convinced. So this is more of a speculation than anything else. But moving on to the final theory, theory number 4, and this is the one which I feel personally is most plausible and most creditable as well. Okay, as you by now know, the way in which the cars have been set up in Need for Speed Payback is in a way whereby they are actually available to buy from different dealers, and certain cars can actually be used in different build specs. So just to remind anyone who doesn't know, the build specs are drag, drift, off-road, race and runner. Now, majority of the cars in the game can actually race in more than one of these specifications, okay? So if you take a look at this example on screen now of the NSX and the RSX, you can see that the NSX 2017 is available in drag and race spec only. The RSX is available in off-road and race spec only. Now, this pattern is something that you see throughout the whole car list, okay? You don't really see many cars that can compete across all specification classes. Now, there are exceptions to this list, and the exceptions are the derelicts. If you take a look at this image on screen now, you'll see the Chevy Bel Air, the C10 pickup, the Mustang, Fairlady 240 and the Beetle. Every single one of them have got the ability to compete in any of the actual classes. Why is this relevant? Why is this important? Well, as you can see from your on-screen images again, all of the cars which I mentioned, which are supposedly missing from the game at the moment, as you can see, just like the derelicts, can actually compete across every single build class. Also, there's another similarity between these phantom missing cars and the derelicts, and that is the fact that they are all considered as classics. All the derelicts are from like the 60s and the 70s and stuff like that. The Skyline 2000, the Plymouth Barracuda and the 2 Volvos are all from around the same era. Now, the RX-7 obviously came out a little bit later, but as a JDM drift icon, as a drifting legend, it can still be considered a classic. Okay, right, so I've now proven that there are 2 very, very strong similarities between the derelicts and the missing cars. So where am I going with all of this? Well, I think, and I could be wrong here, all right? This ain't fact, but I suspect that we could be looking at derelicts part 2. That is what I'm thinking at this present moment in time. I think out of the 4 theories that I've presented, this is the one that seems to be the most feasible. This is the one that seems to have enough information surrounding it to make it seem plausible and doable. Also, if you take into consideration what I said earlier on about how games developers like to ensure that their games stay fresh and stay meaningful and keep you playing, the derelicts are a huge part of Need for Speed Payback. And by introducing more of them, essentially what you're doing is you're giving that game a much needed refresh. Now, if this is to be the case, if I'm right, then it could be that we see these potential derelicts come to the game maybe, who knows, 3-6 months from now. I don't know. I'm not an insider. I don't work for Ghost. I'm not affiliated to Ghost in any way, shape or form. I'm just a regular dude who eats cheeseburgers and tries to give you guys an honest opinion. As always, I'm very, 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 very much interested in knowing your thoughts on this. Out of the 4 theories that I put together, theory number 1, roaming racers. Number 2, potential DLC. Number 3, the cars are just not ready. Number 4, potential derelicts part 2. Which of those 4 do you think is the most feasible and the most likely? Or maybe you've got an even better idea. Maybe you've got an even stronger theory. Whatever your thoughts, whatever your ideas are, share it. Now we'll be dropping episode 6 of the playthrough of Payback probably at some point tomorrow, I'm guessing, as long as I can get through it without coughing, which somehow I've done with this video, which I have no idea how I did that. Maybe the hex has been removed. It doesn't matter anyway, because if it's your first time around here, I wish you a Bourne welcome. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and swing the damn hell out of the notification bell so you know when the next video drops. Be sure to join the Discord group. Link to that will be in the description box as well as the comment section as well. Feel free to check out all my other Need for Speed Payback opinion videos that I've done. And also, don't forget, check out the Need for Speed Payback car list petition. If your personal favourite car is missing from the game and you want a place, a platform, a plateau to make your voice heard, watch that video and sign it today. So far we've got over 1,000 signatures, and by signatures I mean people actually putting their cars down in the comments section. Hopefully it will give Ghost some food for thought, as it will act as a very good reference list for them to have a look at if they do decide to add new cars to the game later on. Anyway, I'm done talking. I'll see you when the next video comes out. Take it easy. Peace.